What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? My name is Nathan. I am one half of your Heel Brothers, and alongside me today is my good brother, the other half of the Heel Brothers, with a big smile on his face. He is excited, he is happy, and he is ready to talk Carolina baseball as North Carolina unfortunately loses Game 3 to Arizona. And Arizona advances to the World Series, the College World Series. North Carolina opened up Game 1 Friday on an 18-2 win. It felt like everything was rolling in Carolina's favor. We predicted that it should be a 2-0 sweep, and then the last 2 days happened. If any of you guys watch the watch parties, you guys know where my thoughts is on this. So I'm actually just going to really just turn it over to Alan. I'll explain this in a little bit. And
Jump ship already.
The only thing, I'm rooting
ship
chance up, baby. Or is it like that?
I don't know.
They do I think it's like that. Chance up, something of that nature. They're my favorite South
color,
Carolina team. Buzz off.
My colors don't bleed, baby.
Well, I'm rooting hard for Coastal now. Which, by the way, I will be on the Spurs Up, the Strut podcast Tuesday night. They'll talk a little bit of Arizona with us. Anyway, but the only thing I'm going to open up this thing with, and Alan, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you give your full thoughts on a series that you actually experienced in person as you were there for Game 2. Everybody that's on Twitter right now talking about that Coach Forbes should be gone with how today and yesterday went, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. I'm just gonna call it like that right now. If two-time ACC this is what, year 5? Year 5, right? Okay, year 5, two-time ACC champions, College World Series last year, and you're 1 win away from getting there this year. You hosted super regionals. You've hosted regionals. Get out of here. Just get out of here with that. That's all I'll do. Alan, what did you think about the series? Give your full breakdown of the thing.
We'll start with Game 2. I was there. It was a fantastic game. North Carolina didn't lose. North Carolina was unable to win. I know you wasn't. You texted me a couple times and wasn't real happy with some of the plays that Gallagher had to try to make it third.
That's true.
And you saw where I was sitting. Those plays literally, those plays happened right in front of me. And Gallagher's a full sprint, and one he tried to glove, and he was unsuccessful at gloving it. I think when he went to glove it, the ball hopped one more time and hopped over his glove. So what does he do next time? He tries to barehand it, and he goes to barehand it and isn't able to get his hand on it. So he tries it both ways, and it just didn't go down. It just didn't happen for him. That's a play that he typically makes. We've seen him make it 100 times throughout the season. And sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Then, and North Carolina's still in a position. They're up 8-6? Was it 8-6 before they, or was it 8-7? I think it was 8-7. I think the 3-run home run put North Carolina up 8-7. Tyson's Bass home run.
No. They went up. They were down 2. They hit the 4, so they were up 2. So that'd have been 8-6.
8-6. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that Tyson Bass home run lit the place absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
That place was that was loud.
Yeah, we were going nuts in the watch party for sure.
For an outdoor venue that holds 5,000 or so people, then you got standing room on. That place was turned on its head. Unbelievable moment for Tyson Bass. And at that moment, I think the crowd took a collective sigh of relief. It was like, finally got the big hit. We're up by 2. and you're sitting on your 2 stud freshman Walker McDuffie. You know, you got Ryan Lynch in your back pocket. Aiden Houck still coming in. You still have Folger Boaz, and you was like, man, this is everything had set up perfectly, and it's just unfortunate. Walker McDuffie has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
the entire season, and he just got beat up that game.
Felt like he played definitely better today in Game 3, but Game 2 was not.
He come in another tough situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pull McDuffie, they pull Boaz. They was watching Boaz warm up, and then he just uncorks that chain, the off speed pitch, and homie just put. I guess he was sitting on it. He wasn't sitting on fastball. I guess he had watched Boaz and realized that he was throwing more off speed in the warm up. I guess he was thinking, okay, first pitch is going to be off speed here, try to induce a ground ball to get a double play to get him out of the inning. And, you know, he sits on it and uncorks it into right center. And then the game's right back in flux again.
Yeah.
So you move on. You know, this team, so this team had won, if you include the Oklahoma as a series, because North Carolina did play Oklahoma 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
They haven't lost consecutive games to the same opponent since
actually all season. I think they said all season.
Yeah, all season.
This is the first time they lost consecutive games to the same opponent.
Yeah, they haven't lost consecutive games to the same opponent all season. Okay. They haven't lost a series since the second series in the ACC. So that was Stanford and Louisville. So we're talking middle of March.
Yeah.
Early April.
Mm-hmm.
They won the ACC tournament.
Yep.
They come in, blast Oklahoma, close, tit for tat game 2, blast Oklahoma again. Come into the Super Regional. You blast Arizona, second game, it's back and forth. It's a high scoring game, back and forth. And you just don't that game. They just didn't make enough defensive plays.
Too many errors.
2
errors that gave you that gave runs to Arizona. That's a tie ball game. And then
UNC was accredited for 1 error on Saturday night's game. 1 error.
I'm honestly very shocked about that.
Because the 2 plays that Gallagher had are not going to be considered errors, because one was a swinging bunt and the other one was a bunt. And when a defender is charging in like that on a ball that's hopping, it's either going to hop or it's just going to die. And you got to try to make the play. So you're not going to be accredited for an error if you cannot field that ball, because you're not expecting it's a 50-50 flip. You're either going to get it or you don't. The good ones get it a lot more than the bad ones. And it's just those 2 plays didn't go Gallagher's way. So they didn't make the plays necessary. It wasn't the errors that killed him. It's just the lack of being able to make plays down the stretch. And another thing, the pitching and the umpires, the strike zones, for whatever reason, at the end of the game, it just seems like the strike zone shrinks. And then what was a strike, the first 4 or 5 innings of the game, is no longer a strike. Like there's need to be some consistency somewhere, and that's just not with the North Carolina games. Go watch all the NCAA baseball games. The
NCAA really needs to come down on that this year to finally get the strike zone implemented into every single game. That way, it's just not just a pissing contest.
And it's always up to the umpire. He's going. The first 2 or 3 innings, you're going to learn what the strike zone is.
Yep.
And it seems like once the pitchers learned what the strike zone was, well, he changed it. And that's across the board. Go watch most of the NCAA super regional games. Throughout the game, the strike zone is inconsistent for both teams. You just don't know what you're going to get. And it was definitely that way Saturday when I was there. And some of the calls that North Carolina didn't get, especially late in the game, when Sam Angelo's last bat, that was a ball. That was 100% a ball. It was way too high. But they punched him out, and that was a good scoring chance for North Carolina right there. But one play don't determine the outcome of the games. And then you come into today. I didn't watch it. I was on the golf course. I listened to it. The Cofield hit the solo shot in the top of the second. I was like, ugh. I was like, okay. I was like, there's a saying, great pitchers give up solo home runs. You give up solo home runs because most of the time you're getting people out and you're filling up the strike zone. So eventually somebody's just going to see the strike and they're just going to hammer. So solo shot, 1 run. North Carolina's going to have to score 1 run to win the game anyway. That wasn't a big deal. Bottom of the third comes up, Vanderbrake just laces one over the left field wall. I was like, sweet. North Carolina's got the lead. And then, North Carolina just absolutely cruised. Ryan Lynch was untouchable.
Ryan Lynch had a day. Ryan Lynch had a heck of a day, man.
Absolutely untouchable. And then the 7th, 8th inning. Then the 8th inning. 7th. Well, then.
And I kept saying all throughout the game, I'm like, okay, let's just go score at least 1. If you go back and listen to that watch party, I said that every single inning after that. Like, we have to score 1.
Yep.
I said, just give me 1. I said, that's a 3-run lead. That helps. And I'll be dogged if I wasn't on it.
North Carolina had some chances.
There were 2 balls that were getting ready to leave the park, but just died at the last second. And the
Gallagher
one
had
Carter
one.
French had, it was Gallagher had the center fielder backed up 2 against the wall, and he caught it in his glove. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me!
I think Sam Angelo missed one, but hit one foul by a foot down the right field line.
And think about it: the single home run they had, the solo, was in by a foot. On the left foul line, was in by a foot. I'm like, you gotta be. And how many times did Carolina do that? Not yesterday, but Saturday while you were there. They knocked in 3 home runs, and they just trail foul at the last second.
Yeah, baseball's a cruel game.
Bad breaks. And I feel so bad for Luke Stevenson and Gavin Gallagher. Gallagher was destroying the ball coming in. Obviously, you don't expect that to continue.
Yeah,
you don't expect it to keep up. But for him to, unfortunately, just not have a good games 2 and 3, Luke Stevenson as well just could not seem to get rolling.
Yeah,
that last ball that
Stevenson
hit. Yeah, last ball that Stevenson hit where it popped up. The second it popped up, he just took the bat and hit the ground right before it cut to the camera where the outfielder caught him. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah,
I hated it.
Luke was frustrated at the plate.
Yeah,
and I think the frustration came from the Super Regional, and you thought that maybe the first game of the Super Regional might have relieved some of the frustration.
Mm-hmm.
But that frustration was on full display in game 2. There was one time he missed. He popped one ball up. I mean, it got out of the seats, but he let some considerable, very loudly choice words come out of his mouth after he popped that one ball out.
Yeah.
So I think that there was definitely some frustration on his side because he's the top catching prospect in the country. He's the top catcher in the country. He'll be drafted in the top probably 20 when the MLB draft comes around.
Yeah.
So
Hate to see him go.
I'm sure a lot of that pressure he's placing on his shoulders. He wants to be the guy, you know. He has all the power in the world, and he knows to strike. Like his strike. I mean, he took a lot of walks this season. He
Yeah.
did not strike out a lot. Um. So
Because a lot of times when you were throwing it to him, he was just bombing the sucker.
um, and for he just got frustrated. The hits wasn't going his way. So he was frustrated. Whether for whatever reason, whether he was feeling the pressure. Really, I'm sure everybody come up to the plate and be like, "All right, I got to help my team. I got to help my team. I got to help my team."
Yeah.
So then so that that's tough for Luke. What else I want to get? So yeah, then we get to the tailor-made ground ball to Vandy, and I can't. I think I was teeing off on a par three, and wasn't really listening. It was just in my ear while I was teeing off, and when I got done, like it kind of sunk in. I was like, no outs. There was an error. I think that's when they took Lynch out, maybe.
Mhm.
And then brought in McDuffie because they was almost sure that one guy was going to bunt, and McDuffie, the way Coach Forbes said it, McDuffie was one of the best pitchers at defending his position, so on and so forth. And then I'm not, I didn't see it. I'm not sure what happened with the guy that bunted the ball,
Yeah,
and
so the ball got bunted, and the bunt went left towards third base line.
Mhm.
Gallagher ran as fast as he could, got the ball. Vandebrake went to first. And as he's going to first,
yeah.
Gallagher chunks it. And Brayfrogel, it was perfect timing. As the ball was a little, you got the main plate and you got the green plate. Batter's got to get to green plate.
White and green,
Right. Okay. Well, the ball got to first base, but it got to the green plate.
Green backside.
Right. And it caught as Brayfog was running, it caught him right here.
The ball hit him?
The ball hit him.
Mm.
And knocked him like silly. It hit him, and then he landed face first and did not get up for a couple of minutes. And then that's what scored the first run.
The first run, yeah.
And then a couple of plays later,
they brought in Aiden Houck in the
right.
That was that Mason White, right?
Yeah, Mason White hit a ground ball between second and third, straight out to Kepley.
And I think Mason White come up big, pretty much all series for him.
He did, big time hitter for him.
And I think if you go back and look at that preview, I said if Arizona was going to be the ones, Mason White was going to have his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, he did. That he did. And Spillane yesterday or Saturday.
I don't mind Aiden Houck coming out in that situation. Somebody said, "Well, Mason White's coming up. He's a lefty, and they got Boaz." I was like, I don't know if I'd bring Boaz in this situation, just because of what happened the very last game when he came in to face the one left-handed batter.
Right.
The one left-handed batter that was 1 for 4. No, he might have been 0 for 3 when he came up to the plate against Boaz yesterday and drove in the runs.
Just wish you had a guy like Matty Mateus who'd been in some serious situations like that.
The injury to
Mateus,
it hurts, but it's baseball, and people that watch a ton of baseball and love the game of baseball, they understand. And if there's one thing that holds true throughout every facet of baseball, from the high school ranks to the major league ranks, the best team in baseball rarely wins the national championship, the World Series. It's because that's the game.
I mean, think about it. 1 through 5, the top 5 seeds are all gone except for Arkansas.
So I mean, and but this team was extremely talented, extreme, one of the best, most well-rounded teams that North Carolina's had probably since 2006. And in 2006, North Carolina, I mean, they couldn't win it. They went to the championship series of the World Series and they lost it in Game 3. That's how close they were.
Yeah.
I hate it. I mean that there's ways to lose games, and the way that game was lost, that's it's awful.
Yeah.
Some of the
I
fan
think that's
base,
the most frustrating part for me.
some of the things I've seen the fan base say is absolutely wild.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. I'm pissed too.
Um,
But you gotta I mean,
you,
while we were
you
even
know,
live during the watch party, we had somebody was like, "Oh, why bring in Walker McDuffie in the situation that you bring it in? Like Forbes has got to go if they can't get this thing." I'm like, that is so
nobody
dumb.
nobody said that about Walker McDuffie this
Right.
entire season until
Yeah.
his
And that's
last
the thing.
outing,
You have to
and
people
nobody.
have to have context. Walker has been great. He has been outstanding. You have been one of the biggest, guys for him. You wanted his jersey. You still want his jersey. You probably get a pair of glasses, little gimmicked glasses if you wanted to do the deal. He's been great, and you have to understand that coming in. It sucks. Was it his day? No, it was not his day. Honestly, Saturday for sure was not his day. He pitched a little bit better today, of course, for the little bit of time that he did what he needed to do. And then they pulled him out and brought in Aiden Haugen.
That and pop
But
up that infield pop up that he got against Walton. I thought that was big time when that happened. I
yeah,
thought North Carolina might get out of it.
yeah,
I really
did
did.
too.
I thought North Carolina might get out of it. But yeah, I hate it. As much as you hate it as fans, I can't put into words the thoughts and the feelings that Vanderbrake has, Madera
Oh, I feel so
has,
bad for him.
Stokely has, Tyson Bass has. I mean, Tyson Bass was 0 for 3 today, grounded into 2 double plays, grounded into a double play with the bases loaded when we was already up 3-1.
Yeah, I had a run coming in. Crazy.
Jake Knapp, he last probably, I don't know if it'll be his last baseball game. He's probably got some major league stuff.
He
Who
should definitely
else?
get a shot. That's for sure.
Tyson Bass. This could be the end for Kane Kepley. Somebody. He's draft eligible. Gallagher. He's got one more season. So I mean, shortstop, second base, first base, catcher. They're all gone. Your right fielder's gone. I think. I'm not sure
They brought in a Georgia State transfer, I think, at catcher the other day, but I don't know who he is yet.
I'm not sure how much School Carter franchise left. But I mean, you still got Rom Kellis, you still got Sawyer Black, Sam Angelo, he's done.
I really liked him.
He really, like, at the beginning of the season, everybody's like, "Why did we bring this guy here?" And then at the end of the season, everybody's like, "Oh, Sam Angelo," and that's fans. I'm guilty. I live and die on just about every sinking pitch. But then at the end of it, you got to take that. You got to step back and look at it and be like, "This is a great season." It didn't end. It didn't end the way you wanted it to. it only ends the way anybody wants it to for one team. But you could have been number 1 seed Vanderbilt getting bopped out in the regional. You could have been number 2 seed Texas getting bopped out in your regional. So it's tough. The last 3 holes of golf was not too fun. Yeah, I mean, I hate it. I hate it for the guys
Yeah,
because I get to watch it again next year. I get to watch it again next season. I get to get in. I
not all of
get
them
to
get to play it again
reinvest.
next year.
I get to reinvest into the baseball team again next year. A lot of these guys don't get to reinvest next year.
Yeah.
And Vanderbrake being one of them. And so you imagine living with that.
I hate that for him, dude. I really do.
And I hate it.
Vanderbrake has been awesome.
I mean, he has been Captain Clutch.
Yeah.
Just about every time at the plate that he needed to be Captain Clutch. We're not up 3-1 without Vanderbrake.
Mm-mm.
Baseball
And Gallagher carried us a lot throughout the regional.
Yeah, Gallagher carried us through the regional, and he started out on fire the first game of the Super Regional.
Yeah.
So, man, I mean, this national championship is probably the hardest one to win.
Yeah. I've been watching Carolina baseball now, and I've been watching baseball really for the last 3-4 years, and I am slowly but definitely surely starting to figure out this is hard, man. This one's difficult. You can stack a team. You can put Katie on the Warriors, and you still might get knocked out.
I mean, look at what MTSU just beat Duke 19-9 after losing 4-3.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games.
One more, baby. One more. Just one more.
I mean,
they get one more. Duke's out.
I mean, that's the thing.
But
One day you're
ahead.
taking that round bat and round ball and you're just mashing it all over the place. And the next day, that round bat and round ball, you're pushing it into the dirt.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the game. Outside of golf, man, I really think that's the 2 hardest sports out there.
Well, that's good to know. Well, let's talk about what's coming next. What's coming next is Arizona's moving on to the College World Series, but there's a team in which they are getting ready to face that I am predicting now is going to mollywop them all over Omaha. That is the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. I really wanted us to face them because I thought that was going to be a good game. Coastal and Carolina, they always play each other. They've been playing each other the last couple of years. There have been great games. They've always come down to the extra innings, the last at bat. It always comes down to that. Coastal looks like they're on a roll. And personally, I'm pulling for Coastal the rest of the way. I'm a South Carolina. Alan, you are not a South Carolina native. You are a North Carolina native. I, however, am a South Carolina native. I do have a favorite team in the state of South Carolina. Now, nobody ever trumps the North Carolina Tar Heels. We understand that. But Carolina's out. So now it's time to roll with Coastal. And I'm excited about it because I think Coastal has a chance. Arkansas looks pretty crazy, and we'll see what LSU does. But Coastal's got a shot. And I think I'm rooting for them all the way around. That's why I've got my Coastal shirt on, because now they get to what hurts my feelings is that I thought Carolina should have won this game or should have won the series 2-0. Me and you both predicted that. I still hold true to that. Very unfortunate bad breaks. God, that bugs me like crazy. But there is still hope. There is still hope, and it starts on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I am so looking forward to it. And then we can start worrying about football season. Which, by the way, Bill Belichick, do me a favor. Do not show up at the Bosch ever again. Appreciate you. That's that. He is 0 for 2 in the 2 biggest games that we needed. 0 for 2.
Yeah.
Did you see him? at all, by the way?
No. Saw Roy Williams.
That's good and grand, but
I sat my seat yesterday was 10 feet from old Roy. Aaron Madsen came down and talked to Roy Williams for like 10 minutes.
that's understandable. Two legends.
Two goats. Ashley went and
Anyway.
got a picture taken with Roy.
Oh, that's nice. Why didn't you go?
I had my picture with him at the Dean Dome, and I'm all right.
No. You should have sent it to me, man. We could have put it up on the live stream while we were there.
Yeah, well, sorry.
He didn't think about the people. He don't think about you guys at all. He just shows up like, whatever. He hates the people. Go Heels, hate people.
Ashley said that Bryson and Carson went, and I told Carson to go take a picture. And I was keeping Jackson while she went. And Carson, Ashley was like, come on, get in the picture. Telling Bryson to come get in the picture. And she said, Roy looked at Bryson. He was like, and said, well, come on, son. I got baseball to watch. Roy was ready to, and I'm sure it gets old, especially at the Dean Dome, dude. That the line before that game is absolutely ridiculous. He probably does it up 200 times a game when he's there.
Yeah.
It is not nearly. It is. I might have saw like 7 people take a picture with him at the Bosch, and at the Bosch, you can stand right beside him and take a picture. At the Dean Dome, there's like a railing between you and him.
Yeah.
But at the Bosch, you can just walk right up to him and be like, hey, coach, you mind if I can snag a photo? Sure, son, come on over. But yeah, Ashley said he looked at Bryson. He was like, well, come on, son, I got some baseball to watch. I told Ashley, I told her, I was like, just go in between innings.
Yeah.
That way there's nothing going on. And he's like, come on, son.
That is hilarious. That is awesome. Well, let's get out of here, man. This has been it's been a great season. It's a heartbreaker to end the way that it did. Excited to see where everybody goes. On to TCU. So looking forward to seeing what happens with everybody during the draft time and who Carolina brings in through the portal. They've already got a guy out of Georgia State. I think it's a catcher. And we'll see what happens from there. See who is able to return, who's leaving, and see what Scott Forbes can do. If there's anybody that I can trust to rebuild a team, Scott Forbes is it. He did this. I mean, last year he lost 7-8 guys out of last year's team that went to the World Series and was 1 win away. Honestly, should have got the win, but was 1 win away from going back to the World Series. Boom. I mean, that's pretty doggone good.
Retained a lot. I mean, you lost your outfield, but North Carolina plays you can find
outfield, your first baseman.
Well, you had that's the thing. You had Stokely. Stokely was the first baseman before Parks Harbor came. Parks Harbor came from Georgia. Stokely had been there. So we didn't have to replace the first baseman because we had it. And Stokely's defense was a lot better than Parks Harbor's.
Yeah, I like Stokely.
I
love that dude.
So this year's rebuild is going to be 10 times tougher than last year's.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens, man. I'm looking forward to it. But, looking forward to seeing what happens. And I'm going to be out on the Strut podcast for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. They're inviting me on. We had actually already set up a time just in case we both won to get on with each other because we've been wanting to link up for the longest time, but we've just never been able to because North Carolina and Coastal hadn't played. And then we weren't able to during the season when Coastal and Carolina played during in baseball season, weren't able to get together then. So looking forward to seeing what happens on that Tuesday night, the Strut. I'll send a link over whenever that happens. That way you guys can go check that out. We'll be talking Arizona and, kind of what we learned out of the Arizona game and this, that, and the other thing. So looking forward to it. Anyway, great season. ACC champions. 1 win away from the World Series, but looking forward to seeing what happens from here on out. And boy, heartbreaker. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.
Go Hills. I need a cigarette.
Okay, buddy.
No, this sucks.
Yeah.
My two favorite sports, golf and baseball. And they were ranked tops in the country, and both don't make the championship rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.